Okay, we promised you a full boat tour, so here we go. We'll start up in the forward head, and we'll just work our way all the way back to the back of the boat, and then we'll go up on deck and we'll look around a little bit up there. So this boat, if you're not familiar, is a Beneteau 42cc center cockpit. It's a 2002 model. And just interestingly enough, if you look at all the paperwork from Beneteau on the 42cc, they will tell you that the first one was built in 2003. But we know that this is a 2002 boat that was built in France and sailed across the Atlantic over to New York by the original owner. From there, it was transported over to the West Coast by the second owner. And they did a lot of the refit on this boat mid-2000s, and then they sold it to a gentleman who we purchased it from about 3 years ago and completed the refit. But let's start up in the forward head. Not much to show you up here. It is a full head, wet head, stand-up room. They had The original head was a pump head. Both of them, forward and aft, have been changed to these electric heads. They're fantastic. Really like that, and that's a big improvement to the boat. They have these little seats to sit on to take a shower, both in the forward and the aft head. But they didn't have any way to hold them up, so I added these little spring latches to keep it up, because more often than not we would forget to put them down. And then when we took the boat out, they would slam down as soon as we hit a wave. But everything else is basically original. We haven't really changed anything in the head up here. They do have storage, little medicine cabinets behind each one of these mirrors. And of course, storage underneath the sink. These doors didn't have any kind of a catch to hold them open when we bought the boat, and they would tend to slam shut or slam open on us if we didn't have it closed and completely latched. So I added these magnetic latches to hold it open, and works great now. Pretty simple solution, and they're not very intrusive, so nice clean latch that holds the door open for us now, so we don't have to worry about that. Also, when we bought the boat, this door would not close right. I'm not exactly sure why, but it would hit up here on this top arch, and the door would not close without forcing it closed. So I took the door off, reworked the hinges, and now you can see the door closes quite nicely. The lock was also broken, so I had to rework that, and now the lock works as well, so you can actually latch the door if you're a guest on board. The berth is a Pullman berth, but it is a very large one. You can see it's easily large enough for 2 adults. Little seating area over here with a shelf behind it for storage. And then we have a closet, a hanging closet here for our guests. This was an addition when we had the mast down for the rigging. I had them add nav lights to the top of the mast, a tricolor nav light to the top of the mast, so that when we're offshore, we can switch to the masthead nav light, and it gives us a little more visibility. There's Carmen taking advantage of the nav station. Hanging closet here as well. With a little bit of storage up on top. We changed the TV in here, put a much larger, more modern flat screen smart TV in here. Garmin went through and reupholstered the entire boat, including all of the curtains, the pillows, the cushions all have new foam and new upholstery. This table we changed, and you probably saw in our other boat tour video. We had the very large dining table that Beneteau puts in just about all of the boats of this generation. It was just too large for us. It was designed that it would move laterally as well as expand with a leaf in the middle. It was a real nice table if you had a large group of people, but it's just the two of us normally in the boat. If there's more than that, we'll go eat up on the deck, up on the cockpit table, and it gives us a little bit more room. But we like this idea because it opens up the salon quite a bit and gives us quite a bit more room to move around. This was a major improvement. This is one of my favorite improvements to the boat. This is a Garmin Vesper Cortex VHF / AIS transponder / anchor alarm / plotter / about a dozen other things. You can hook this into your NMEA 2000 network, and it will display all your engine data. It's just a fantastic device, and I really like that. That's one of the best improvements we've made. Now, we bought this before Garmin bought the company. It used to be owned by a company called Vesper. They sold out to Garmin, and Garmin has now raised the price of these. I'm not even sure how much they cost now, but it's a really cool device that shares the VHF antenna with our primary VHF, our standard Horizon, which is also a new radio and also has AIS on it. So sounds a little odd that I have two, but I put that one in before I discovered the Vesper Cortex, and I really wanted that, so I went ahead and bought it, added that to it, and I love it. It's a fantastic addition. So if you're considering it, I'd be glad to talk to you about that and give you my review of that device, because I think it's fantastic. Chart plotters are very old. They're original to the boat. At some point, we will probably upgrade these to a B&G network. We still haven't done that yet. The boat still has a 0183 network. We have not upgraded it yet. Eventually, we'll probably do that. That's something that will come. We keep talking about doing it. It's just that the electronics, just like any electronics, change all the time, and I'm just not sure that I'm ready to make that leap yet, because it's a fairly large investment, and everything on this boat works right now, so not in a big rush to change those. The electrics on this boat have been a major project for us. We went through and redid 90% of the electrics on this boat. Everything is very well organized now. The boat has a ProSign 2.0 inverter charger. If anything ever did fail with this, I would probably upgrade to a Victron inverter charger. I haven't bothered to look into it. This one works great, and I'm just happy with it. If we did upgrade, we'd go with a Victron, primarily because we upgraded or installed a Servo GX for remote monitoring of the boat. We can monitor the electrical status of the batteries. We can monitor the refrigerator. We can monitor the LPG tanks. We can monitor the solar. Just about the entire boat we can keep an eye on remotely, and that's a big advantage for us since we're not here living on the boat all the time. We did use a Victron solar charge controller, MPPT. We'll show you the electrical system on the boat because that's a little unique. Alright, so in the bilge we replaced the old diaphragm pump with a new pump. The old one was in pretty bad shape and started leaking when the backflow valve decided to give out. So I replaced the pump with a new one. We rebuilt the old one, and it's in the spares locker for a spare if we ever needed it. I also reworked all the plumbing, cleaned it up quite a bit. The battery, this is the house bank, part of the house bank system. We have a 460 amp hour lifetime lithium battery connected to 3 100 amp hour AGM batteries. I know it sounds crazy. Everybody says you can't do it, but we did using this battery bank manager. You've probably seen that in one of our previous videos. If you haven't, go look up the battery install that we did last year, and you'll see why we did it and the benefits of it. I'm telling you, this is one of the best setups I've seen on a boat. Right, the boat tour video this week's being brought to you by Watt Cycle batteries. These things are a good quality battery at a budget price, so you need to go check them out if you're looking for a lithium solution for your boat. I'm not going to put this thing on a bench and test it out, because there are lots and lots of videos just like this one behind me on YouTube that you can go look up. There are a lot of them out there, and I'm telling you, every single one of them test out just fine. These are good quality batteries at a budget price. This is a Group 24 100 amp hour 1280 watt hour battery, and on top of that, it's Bluetooth connectable. It's a smart battery, so you can download an app on your iPhone. You can look at the status of the battery, but even better than that, the app shows you the health of the battery, because you can look at each individual cell, look at the voltage, the temperature, and the overall status of the battery. That's pretty cool. On top of that, it has cold weather charge protection built into it. These things have 100 amp BMS. It can handle up to 120 amps of continuous discharge, and that's been tested, and every time I've seen a test, they test out just fine. So it is a good quality battery. They have a pretty wide range of battery selections on their website, so if you're looking for one and this isn't what you're looking for, this is a Group 24 battery. If you're looking for something a little bigger, a little bit smaller, they probably have it for you. On top of that, they're offering you a discount if you use the code that I've posted below in the comments. So take a look down below, get that coupon code, go to their website and check them out. It's a good quality battery. You're probably going to find what you want. This old Link 10 battery monitor is not used anymore. It's still connected, but we don't use it anymore. The battery bank manager down here works kind of as a rudimentary battery monitor. We can monitor both sides of the house bank, the lithium separate from the lead, which is a nice little feature. But we also went in and installed a Victron Smart Shunt while we were doing the battery install, and that's connected to the Serbo GX, so we can monitor the batteries either locally or remotely using the Serbo GX. We do have a FCI water maker that works very, very well, although we don't use it very often. Right now it's pickled, but it does work quite well. It's a single diaphragm water maker, and it's plenty sufficient for this boat. So the water maker is actually installed under this cushion. I'll show it to you real quick. And behind each of these cushions, you'll see we have storage. Batteries, storage. That's an old Pioneer CD player, DVD player that I've never bothered to take out, but it's basically garbage. I'll never use that again. But underneath here, we have storage, as you would expect. I've got a lot of spares under here. Under this cabinet, we have our water maker. Storage all over the boat. We've got shelving around. We've got several cabinets here. This is actually a wine cabinet. We've just got a bunch of junk in it right now because we're not wine drinkers, but there is a rack in there for wine bottles and glasses. Same thing over on this side, on the other side of Carmen, if she can show that to us. Another nice sized little cubby there for storage. These overheads do have shades on them. They do have shades on them. I had them all closed, so it was a little dark in here, and I didn't even realize it while I was giving you a tour of the salon, but you can see with all of them open how nice and bright it is up here. The settee is plenty large for 6 people. If you wanted to put that many people in your boat, it does lower down with another cushion to make a double berth, so you'd have room for 2 more people. Cushion over here, we have access to our manifold for the freshwater. Storage underneath all of these seats. We put most of the tools and the spares under these seats. Under this floorboard, which I'm not going to take up because it's screwed down to stabilize the dining table. But underneath this is the start battery for the gen set. So this is one access to the engine bay. I did change these latches down here to spring latches because the original pin latches that Beneteau had installed on here would pop open from time to time, and the companionway would actually open on us inadvertently, and became kind of an annoyance. So I put these spring latches on there, and we haven't had that issue since. So this is the engine bay. What you have up here is our MPPT. I put a 150/45 on here for the 485 watt bifacial panel that we'll show you when we go up on the deck. And then the Servo GX, which is what I was talking about a minute ago. It allows us to monitor basically the entire boat while we're not here. But what you see in here is that's the Yanmar 4H. I can't say anything more about it. The Yanmar is a fantastic diesel engine. We're very, very happy with it. This motor's only got about 870 or 80 hours on it. Real low time motor when we bought the boat, and I couldn't be happier with it. It's just fantastic. In the back over there, and we'll get you a better view of it here in a minute, is the Northern Lights genset. That was an addition from one of the previous owners, the second owner that I was telling you that did a lot of the refit on this boat, installed that genset. But the genset actually doesn't get a whole lot of use anymore. It runs great. About a year ago, we had a mechanic come over. I have a mechanic that comes once a year just for annual service. He does kind of a look-see on the Yanmar as well as the genset, and I have him do that just because it's always good to have more than one set of eyes on something when you're dealing with mechanics. There's always something that I might miss, and so I have him come out once a year and just kind of give him a look-see and change all the fluids and that kind of stuff. And last year when he was here, he found a lot of corrosion in the exhaust manifold on the cooling system for the Northern Lights genset. We had it all taken out, rebuilt it completely, and reinstalled it, and it basically runs like new. It never did, it never failed to run like new, but now it's mechanically in very, very good condition. You'll see right up here on this panel is the ProSign inverter charger that I was talking about a minute ago, and the rest of the electrics. Right up there is the FCI water maker control panel with the water filters. Looks like I need to change those. They're probably about due. Over on this side, you've got the Raycor and the coolant bottle, and then a few other doodads. The floor up here, which makes the ceiling of the engine bay, is actually the floor of the cockpit. And you can see that with just about 6 bolts, you can take that floor completely out. And if you ever did have to do any major mechanical work on this boat, you can take that floorboard out of the cockpit and you can lift the engine straight out of this boat. It would be very, very easy to do. So one of the other really cool features of this center cockpit boat is that there's 2 entrances into the engine bay. So we're going to make our way through the galley into the aft stateroom. Right down here in this panel, right down here, we can pop this out, and we have a second entrance into the engine bay. How convenient is that? And there is the backside of the engine bay. Really easy access to the transmission, the shaft, the shaft seal, the exhaust, the Northern Lights genset. Once again, just really, really easy access back here. You might be able to see it tucked way back in the corner is the hot water heater. Right now it works great. I haven't had any issues with it at all. All right, so let's take a trip through the galley. Right here is our pantry. We use this as a pantry. We've got all of our stuff stored in here. I have seen some boat owners, some 42cc owners, that took this pantry out and put another fridge right here. That would probably be very handy if you were living full-time on the boat, but we don't. So we just use it as a pantry. Forced tin stove. We've got a raw water pump down here by my foot for the sink. There's a refrigerator compressor. It's a fridge boat, Fridgematic AB35F. They don't make that model anymore, although that's just a standard old compressor that you can buy off the shelf just about anywhere. But I rebuilt this entire system and it's working great right now. We had a lot of problems with it when we first got the boat. We couldn't get the fridge to cool down. Ended up changing the compressor controller as well as the thermostat and most of the plumbing. I evacuated the system, checked the compressor, which was still good, fortunately, and recharged it, and it's working great. The boat hasn't missed, or the fridge hasn't missed a beat since I finished that project, and I'm very, very happy with it. 2-tub sink in the kitchen, and this is the fridge. The only complaint that we have with this is we're not a big fan of the top loaders, and that little freezer box right there is the only thing we have for a freezer. So it would be nice to have a deep freeze in here, and if we ever did decide to put another fridge over there in the pantry, we would probably turn one of these or maybe both of these into a deep freeze. This little puck right back here, it's called a Mopec, a Ruvi Mopec sensor, and R-U-U-V-I, Ruvi. If you're looking for a way to monitor your boat, that Serbo GX, you can connect to the Serbo GX with that Ruvi Mopec monitor. And that works in the fridge as well as on our LP tank. I'll show you that when we go up top where the LP tanks are. But we can monitor the temperature of the fridge, and we can monitor the quantity of our LP gas. Storage over here for all of our dishes. You don't see this on boats very often anymore. I think it's a really cool feature, but we can put quite a bit of stuff in here. Behind the counter, we've got a ton of storage here. All along here, we have storage all the way up to the front of the countertop, and even over the stove, we have more storage. So tons and tons of storage on this boat. Storage all down here. Big cabinets, small cabinets. We keep all the flatware here, rags and other stuff. Microwave, more storage down here for pots and pans. All right, let's go take a look at the aft stateroom, which is one of the big selling points to this boat. So we're in the back of the boat now, and you can see how bright this boat is. Just a very bright, open layout. Large queen size bed. It's almost larger than a queen, kind of about halfway between a king and a queen berth. Really nice with seating around both sides. And you can see the Carmen did change the upholstery back here as well, through the entire boat. We did change all of the light fixtures throughout the entire boat to LEDs. That was a big improvement. Saved us a lot of electrical power. But we changed it to these reading lamps that you see up here over the top of the bunk. They have chargers in the bottom of them, so you can plug in a charger cord for your iPhone or your iPad and charge it. Up there in the corner, you see the router for the Starlink. Works great, lasts a long time. I can't imagine owning a boat without Starlink nowadays. It's just awesome. These cabinets on either side of the bed have a little shelf underneath. They have a little bedside table right next to your pillow, and then we have a large cabinet here that you can put quite a bit of clothing in. Really nice. And then behind each door is a hanging closet for each one of you. So we've got a hanging closet on either side. There's storage underneath the settee on both sides. Behind this door as well is another hanging closet for Carmen. And underneath this settee as well. And then on her side she has a closet also. Lots and lots of storage. We upgraded the TV back here to a smart TV as well. And we stream everything off of the Starlink. The aft head, huge selling feature. You can see we put in the teak floor because it's always nice to have dry feet when you step out of the shower. But same thing that you saw up front, we've got an electric head. We also have a seat here as well, and a stand-up shower. How nice is that? Really nice shower. I'm very happy with this shower. We get plenty of hot water off of it. It's got a little seat to sit on. Just very nice, large, stand-up shower with tons of hot water, and we really, really like it. One upgrade we didn't talk about is that every single one of these windows that you see in this boat, I changed. Most of them I just changed the lenses, but there are quite a few that I did have to change the frame and rebid because there was a little bit of corrosion on them. These two in particular, they were a lot of work because I actually changed the frame and rebid the entire thing. But all of them have new lenses in them, and you can see how nice and clear all of these windows are, except for that one. That one, and on the other side of the salon, that one right there. We did not change those yet. I'm going to, but these don't open. They're fixed port lights, and they don't make these anymore. They don't make these lenses anymore. They're bedded, so I'm probably going to have to, at some point, I'm going to cut these out, and I'm going to take this up to a plastic company, and I'm going to have them cut me some new windows, and I'm going to replace those. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. These overhead lights that you see in the salon, these are in great shape, actually. I just need to polish them. I've got some Novus polish that we used to use on our airplanes. It works great for bringing back the clarity of a plastic window like this. I just haven't had time to do it. You'll notice that we have fans all over the boat. These are all original to the boat. They work great, and they're really nice to have in the summertime. So here's one of the LED lights that we were talking about a minute ago. I think there were 32 of them that we replaced throughout the boat, including the four reading lights back by the bed in the aft stateroom. Let's see, what else can we tell you about the boat? I think that's about it. Let's go up on deck. We got plenty to talk about up there because that's where a lot of our effort went into. So let's go up on deck. We'll talk about some stuff up there. So we had all of the canvas redone on the boat when we bought it. The windows are Macrolon. I'm not going to bother taking all the canvas off because it's just too much trouble to take it off when we're not going anywhere. We're just sitting in the slip doing a tour for you. So anyway, windows are all Macrolon, crystal clear. It's amazing how clear that stuff is, but all the canvas is brand new. We had it cut so that in the future we can have the side panels done. The cushions up here are all brand new. These were done with the upholstery when we had it done downstairs in the interior. But these bolsters are super comfortable when you're out cruising and got the autopilot on and you just want to relax. You probably saw this in an earlier video. I came up with these little, Suncor makes these little holders, these little stainless holders for the winch handles. Makes it really convenient to just store those and get them out of the way, and you don't lose them. All of the lines, we added 2 clutches up here. All of the lines are now run to the cockpit. Makes it very easy to single hand the boat. We've got 4 winches. We've got the 2 secondary 40s as well as the 48 primaries on the side rails there. All in great condition now. We had to service all of these when we got the boat, and this one right here in particular was a bit of a mess. It hadn't been serviced in a long time. We had a lot of corrosion inside this one. It took quite a bit of effort to bring it back into shape, but it's all working now. We added 2 LED cockpit lights down here that you've probably seen in a previous video, red or white, so we can use them while we're sailing at night or just for entertaining in the cockpit at night, which makes it really handy. There's one on either side. The pedestal is basically original. Again, we've got the original chart plotter and the tri-display or autopilot display. Everything works. I would love to have no electronics on the boat, but again, it's one of those expenses that we just haven't bothered with because everything's functional and works really well. We like to call this boat jewelry. We added a new stainless, well, they're all stainless, the Ultra Anchor. They only come in stainless. But we did a lot of work up here on the bow roller, cleaned all this up, added new urethane rollers, and added this Ultra Anchor. That was a huge improvement, very pretty, and it's got ridiculous holding power. It's amazing how well those things hold. We've anchored a few times now, and I can't say enough about the Ultra Anchor. We also, when we changed the anchor, we also added 300 feet of triple B chain. So we've got new anchor chain on here. That's tied to another 150 or 175 feet of three-strand road. So we've got more than enough total road there for the anchor to anchor just about anywhere around here, even though it's deep water and on the west coast here in California. So this is a old Leroy Sommer windlass. It's original to the boat, and when we bought the boat, it was not working. I was worried that we were not going to be able to get it working. We were going to have to replace it. But I took it apart, rewired it, and it is now working like new. So, real happy with that. The only thing that I would do different with the setup on the ground tackle is that when I bought the Ultra Anchor, it's a 46-pound Ultra, and for some reason Ultra has two different swivels and two different size swivels for this anchor. One of them is larger and one of them is smaller, and I wish that I had gone with the larger of the two. I may at some point go ahead and order the larger swivel for the 3/8 chain. One of the really nice features of this boat is the size of the anchor locker. The anchor locker is huge, and again, I've got 300 feet of triple B 3/8 chain in there, along with 150 feet of road, and you can see that I have more than enough room to add even more. I have often thought that it would be real nice to perhaps partition off part of this so that you could use part of this cavity for a sail locker, because you got plenty of room to do that. The other thing that we don't have on this boat that I could add in here is a washdown pump. That's something that I'll probably do at some point. When we bought the boat, the sails were in pretty rough shape. So I went to a local sail loft, and I had all new sails made for the boat. It's got 140% Genoa, which is probably a little bit more than the boat is happy with. I probably would have preferred to go back down to maybe a 130 or even a 120. The main is an in-mast furling. That was an option from Beneteau, as I mentioned a minute ago. We did have the mast unstepped when we bought the boat and had all of the standing rigging replaced. And when they did that, I had them go through the furling system and clean everything up and replace bearings and all. So it's in really good shape. In addition to all of the standing rigging being replaced, I reran all of the lines. I'm not exactly sure what was going on here, but when I looked at the way they had all of the lines run, there was a lot of chafing going on, and I don't know if it was because the previous owner at some point had rerun all of the lines themselves, but the way it was done when we bought the boat, a lot of these lines were chafing. So I reran them all, and while I was doing that, I just replaced all of the lines with new, and now we've got all new standing rigging as well as running rigging on the boat. Both halyards are new. All of this is new. Everything's been organized quite a bit better, and no longer chafes on anything. The outhaul car has recently been overhauled. I just replaced everything on the outhaul car polished the rail and lubricated everything, and it's all working like brand spanking new again. So everything is run aft. You can run the entire boat single-handed from the cockpit, which is really, really nice. When I bought the boat, we had 4 clutches there. I added 2 more, and that gave me 1 spare that I can use for something else in the future. So that's been a nice addition. We had all of the canvas redone. It came out really, really nice. I'm real happy with it. I used the local loft here in the San Pedro area. Took a while. I added these handholds. The boat didn't have anywhere to hold on when you were walking down the side deck. Once you left the forward part of the deck, there wasn't anything to hold on to as you came out. So I added all these handholds. That's been a great addition as well. I had my welder come out and weld the solid stainless rails around the aft part of the deck. I like this. I think it adds a lot to the boat. Also gave me somewhere to mount the new barbecue grill. So we just replaced that barbecue grill not too long ago as well. The back of the boat is where I did just a ton of work. And it's a bit of a mess right now because we are at anchor and we were out last night having dinner with some friends. But the solar panel is a 485 watt bifacial panel. So you'll notice that even the bottom side of the panel has cells on it. And while you think that doesn't make a whole lot of sense because they're pointing down in the shade, it actually makes the panel incredibly efficient. It's a 485 watt panel, and it's not unusual for us to see 465, 475 watts of production off the panel on a sunny, cool day. So really happy with that. We do have a platform that closes, and you can see once that's closed how large this aft deck is. Back up a little bit and give you a full view of it. You could put 7 or 8 people back here in comfort. We keep a couple of chairs and these huge lazarettes down here. We've got some chairs that we can pull out. We'll put one over here, one over here. You've got some seating here and here. And you can just have a party back here. It's so big. That one of the best features to the boat. And where I'm standing now, where the scuba tanks are, is the back of the owner's stateroom. So the lazarettes are very large on this boat. You'll see that this one is packed full. But we've got the propane here. And again, it's got a Mopex sensor on the bottom of it, so we can see how full it is off of the Serbo GX remotely, which is a nice feature. But these lazarettes are probably 6 feet deep, 5.5 feet deep. We've got all of our scuba gear, extra life jackets, weights. We've got all kinds of block and tackle gear. And this goes through the stern all the way across to the steering gear, all the way over to the other side where we've got another lazarette that's even larger than this one. The autopilot computer is right here. This lazarette's quite full also, but you can see how large they are. You can store a ton of gear in here. Right here is the hydraulic pump for the steering. The rudder post is easily accessible. You could get in here and work on it, but even better than that, you have other access to the steering gear. These stairs right here lift off with simple connectors. You can lift it right off. Remove those steps, and you have direct access to all of the steering gear. There's the hydraulic actuator for your steering, rudder post, rudder stops, autopilot drive, sensors, and all of the other equipment that you need. right here. Amazingly simple to work on anything on this boat, but it does have a pretty simple emergency tiller system. That's this cap right here. It's got a big T-bar that goes down into that hole. You shut off the hydraulic system with a switch, and then you can steer the boat with that tiller. When I had my welder come out to do all of this work back here, I had him add these support braces. These are not original to the boat. I had him add these because I attached my davit to the push pit rail, and it wasn't sturdy enough for my liking. Those additional braces make it more than adequate to support the davits. The davits were built by Garhauer. You'll notice that I had them made with 1.5-inch tubing to my specs. I actually had the shop cut them to my specifications. And then I had them make the mounting bracket specifically for this boat. Because of the shape of the stern, I needed a bracket that was long enough so that I could mount it down here without this contacting the back of the boat. So I had them made these brackets right here to my specs as well, and mounted up quite easily. I made these brackets myself, that one and this one and this one. And then I took them to my welder and I had him weld them all up. So there's nothing bolted in tension anymore. And this thing's not going anywhere. Let me show you how nice it is to launch this dinghy now that we've got the davit on the boat. So you can slide this back. Put your swim step in the water. One solo individual can lower the dinghy. And when you lower it, it lowers right at your swim step. How nice is that? Now you've got a very nice transition right into your tender. I think it's one of the best setups I've seen. So each one of the arms is rated for 400 pounds. And the boat combined weight with the motor is about 210 pounds. So it's more than adequate to support the dinghy. No, we don't travel with the motor on the dinghy. We keep it there when we're sitting at anchor just to make it easier to launch. And I'll show you that here in a second as well. But we have the outboard crane and we mount it right here. When we bought the boat, it had an old teak engine platform or engine mount right here. And it was getting in pretty rough shape and I didn't like the location of it. So I went to a company called Better Bracket. And I bought this one, which is rated for, I believe, 150-pound outboard. My outboard weighs 93 pounds, and this has been a great engine bracket. It's plenty strong. I've seen some of the lighter weight ones that look just like this. Be careful, because if you buy one, they sell other brackets that look just like this, and they'll crack. They'll crack right in here because of the weight of the outboard. This one is about twice as thick as those are, and with the cap on there, I haven't had any issues at all. I've had my motor on there for well over a year now, maybe 2 years now, and I've had no issues with that bracket. The Starlink system we put on while we were doing all of these upgrades. I added this tower myself, and it goes right down into the lazarette. We used that tower to run the cabling for the solar panel as well as the Starlink. It goes down into the lazarette and then into the back of the boat. Added the life sling. Of course, that's a big safety thing. You can't go without a life sling. If you don't have one, you need to get one in your boat. I wanted somewhere to mount these tanks The original idea was I was going to put mounts along the rails over here, probably in front of where the barbecue grill is, but it's never a good idea to store a scuba tank standing up for a number of different reasons, not the least of which is that they can fall over and they can do a lot of damage when they fall over. So I prefer to store them on their sides anyway. And just about everybody that's in the dive industry will tell you that that's the proper way to store them, is laying down. So, making a very long story short, I went looking for mounts for the scuba tanks. And what you find online can be quite expensive. The ones that I found in the marine stores are just a plastic mount that you put on the rails, and they were upwards of $100, $120 for the mount kit. And so I started looking for an alternative, and I found the perfect solution. I found these on Amazon, $12.95 a piece. Then I just bought the straps to strap the thing onto it, bolted it in, and I have an incredibly sturdy storage tank solution. So if you're looking for an idea, this is a great one. Amazon, I'll put a link down below so you can find them. The Durad vents were originally plastic, pretty ugly, very small. They were about that big, so I'm not sure what the use in them was, but I replaced them with these stainless Durads, and they look good, work great. The Traveler is original to the boat. This is one of my big sore spots. It's an old Penn Traveler, and I have said for 2 years now that I was going to replace that with something better, and I haven't done it yet. So that might be my next upgrade, I don't know. It works, just not well. You can't really adjust it with any wind at all in the sail. You've got to unload the sail to move the car, and just not very functional. So one of these days I'm going to change that. And while I'm at it, I'll probably do something with the jib cars as well. Coming into the cockpit, like I mentioned, we added a couple of clutches over there, so we've got a full complement of clutches to run everything aft, and gives us a spare as well. We found these little Suncor mounts online for the winch handles. Makes it really easy to store, keep them out of the way, they don't go anywhere. And we bought these bolsters. This one covers up the engine panel, but once you're underway, it doesn't matter. You can throw that there. It gives you some really nice comfort to lay back and kind of enjoy your day, and gives you a nice view of everything as you're making way. Well, I hope you enjoyed the boat tour. We've been promising that for a while. We finally got around to doing it for you. So if we missed something, throw it in the comments. We'll answer whatever questions you have. Just a little bit about the specs on the boat. The length overall is 43.13 feet. So just a little over 43 feet. Length of the waterline is 38.4. Carries a beam of 12.83 feet, so just under 13 feet of beam. The boat has a wing keel with a spade rudder, and that gives us a draft of about 5.9 feet. We've seen varying different numbers from 5.6 to 5.9. I go conservative and just consider it's a 5.9 foot draft. The displacement on the boat, I've seen a couple of different numbers. It seems like the later boats were a little bit heavier, the early boats a little bit lighter, but the book on ours shows a displacement of 20,944 pounds, and of course that was dry from the factory, so probably weighs quite a bit more now with all of the additional equipment that we put on the boat, but we just consider it a just under 21,000 pound boat, and that's with a ballast of 6,000 pounds at the keel. The sail area on the boat, as I mentioned, is 140% Genoa. We've got a total sail area of 934 square feet. The main sail is 349 square feet, and the Genoa is somewhere roughly around 585 square feet. The engine on the boat, as I mentioned, is the Yanmar 56 horse. It carries a maximum fuel capacity of just over 63 gallons. I think it's like 63.4 US gallons. And we have a freshwater capacity split between two tanks, one forward, one aft, but we have a total freshwater capacity of 156 US gallons, so quite a bit of capacity there on the freshwater side. As I mentioned, I hope you enjoyed the tour. If we missed anything, throw it in the comments. We'd be happy to answer it for you. We'll be back on the water here shortly with another sailing video, so thanks for joining us.